It's the democracy is stupid. That's how Nicole Wallace breaks it down, what Obama had to say. Obama came out and in his very eloquent way pointed out that the GOP is, in fact, an anti-democratic party. The fact that they did what they did in 2020, the fact that they continue to support a insurrectionist, a traitor to this country, points that out, even as they try to cover up all the things that he's done. Listen to what Obama had to say, and then listen to what the panelists had to say about a group of people in this country who are, in fact, do not believe as a governing principle, as a defining principle, that democracy is what we stand for. Something that is very difficult around the world. Democracies are hard to maintain because it requires a certain amount of people being informed. Check this out. We'll take it on the other side.
More broadly, we've seen, whether it's through the gerrymandering of districts, whether it's trying to silence critics through changes in legislative process, whether it's attempts to intimidate the press, a strand of anti-democratic sentiment that we've seen in the United States. It's something that is right now most prominent in the Republican Party.
That was former President Obama on what he calls a strand of anti-democratic instincts and impulses in the Republican Party. Andrew Weissman, he said it a lot more in an elegant manner. I'll reduce it to a bumper sticker. It's the democracy stupid. Do you think we're there yet, where this really is setting up to be? And you've got a unique vantage point on the assault on the rule of law. I mean, the story we're talking about is just a brick in the wall of a much broader Republican effort to annihilate the credibility and the legitimacy of the U.S. Department of Justice and FBI.
Well, first to the former president's comments, I mean, he is right, both in terms of the history of the world, in terms of democracy is not something that is the norm. It is really still a newfangled proposition. And certainly in this country, as I'm sure he was thinking, but did not say, both slavery and Jim Crow and the actions of the early 20th century to prevent huge parts of the population from voting, namely Blacks and obviously also women. So that is something that is real. It is true that is a huge part of our history. And, Eric Holder and others are working on that significant problem now. But I think that the larger issue in terms of Donald Trump is that he really just cares about power. It is not about principle. And so I think not to sound doom and gloom, but if he were to be reelected, it seems to me that will be a real end to not just the Department of Justice and the independence, but just generally the rule of law in this country. And there obviously is a huge part of the population that doesn't have that as an abiding principle of what it means to be American.
Now, folks don't realize democracy is difficult because for democracy to work, you have to assume you have an educated populace, a populace that is informed by reality. And the way you actually know that Republicans have no interest in democracy is that they have done all the necessary steps to devalue the minds of their constituents, to ensure that they are, one, uninformed, to ensure that they're not critical thinkers, to ensure that everything that they do for them goes through a prism of anti-democracy. Just check out from Fox News to HLN to OAN, and you just check to Newsmax. Check it out. They ensure that their population is less and less informed. And you can't have a real democracy if you have an uninformed populace. And that is where we're heading with a percentage of our population that follows the tenets of the Republican Party. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.